Hey, it's Caleb Guilliams here. Welcome to my brand new channel, and I'm so excited that you're here. And the purpose of this video is to, number one, share the vision of this channel, and number two, maybe give a little bit of backstory on who I am. Some of you have may seen my videos and may know exactly who I am and have been following me for years. Some of you, this might be the first time you're ever seeing me. And I'm excited about this channel and excited to bring you guys on the journey. So first and foremost, what's the vision of this channel? So I'm a husband, I'm a father, I'm an entrepreneur. I love talking about money. I love seeing the news. I love looking at different stories, what things are going viral. And I personally have a lot of opinions. Now, because my past of being a founder, I guess I still am the founder of betterwealth.com and make content, I've really very much stayed in one lane. We're just going to talk about money. We're just going to talk about some of the things that I'm known for. I wrote a book on insurance. I'll talk about that. You know, normally I'll speak to either financial advisors or people about money, and that's the lane that I'm going to stay in. And for the past, that's very much what I did. And I'm still going to be creating content on money. You're even going to see on this channel, I have a lot of opinions and thoughts around money frameworks, people that are saying all kinds of crazy things on TikTok or X and all. And so you'll hear that aspect. But there's also been a part of me that has want to talk about other things, talk about things maybe that happen to be political, or maybe happen to be faith-based, or maybe something when it comes to health-wise, or maybe, you know, as a father, as someone who's, you know, hoping to raise incredible children, like opinions around, you know, schooling and the health of your children. And these are topics that, quite frankly, I didn't want to talk under the umbrella of Better Wealth for a couple reasons. People have different thought processes, and I didn't necessarily want to drag my personal opinions into a business that has a very diverse client base. And we have plenty of people that may agree with 100% of what I have to say. We also have clients that we get to serve that are doing amazing things that don't necessarily hold those opinions, and I didn't want to make that about my opinions. And also, one thing about YouTube is very particular about you creating a channel for a reason. And so instead of, you know, starting to make a left turn in the business, I'm going to continue to make content on the Better Wealth channel. I'm going to continue to make content on our other channel, the And Asset channel, and I'm going to continue to do that. And we are excited for more content, more relevant content, higher, bigger interviews and all on that path. But on this channel, I'm going to be doing a weekly show where I'm going to talk about, drumroll please, what I want to talk about, okay? And maybe I'll just talk to myself because we'll have 0 views, who knows? But I'm going to talk about the things that I am naturally curious about. And you'll be able to tell that these are things that I'm going to be very curious about. It could be health stuff, it could be faith stuff, it could be what's happening in politics, and it very much will include lots of reactions when it comes to what people are saying on the internet, and you'll get my raw, honest feedback. Will I always be right? No, I'll probably be wrong. I will be the first to admit when I'm wrong or when I take L's. And I'm very grateful that I've been on the internet for years doing videos, because I'm no stranger to you, the commenter. And for you guys will point out where I get things wrong. And I very much want this to be a journey. The other thing that you can expect from this channel is a call-in show. Now, for those of you that have seen any of my videos, you may have seen that I have opinions on Dave Ramsey. The short answer when it comes to Dave Ramsey is I think he's iconic. I respect a ton of what he has to say. I think he's helped so many people. Do I think he's right on every one of his opinions when it comes to debt and the market and how you should work when it comes to personal finances? No, but I still respect his consistency. In reflecting on what's made Dave Ramsey so iconic, it really comes down to his call-in show. He, for over 30 years, have been faithfully answering people's questions, saying pretty much the same thing, being super consistent, saying the same thing, helping person after person after person after person, and documenting the journey. Now, I've had maybe a fraction of the conversations that Dave Ramsey has, but he's done a way better job documenting that process than I have. And so I love talking to people about business, talking to people about wealth and finances, and talking to people about money. And I would say that is something that if you were to ask, like, how did you get started in this journey? It's because I have had a love and desire to talk to people, but I've done a terrible job documenting those conversations. And so we are going to be doing a call-in show where it's not going to be like people are just going to call this number and I'm going to answer, but we were going to have people apply to be on the show. If we pick you, I'm going to be able to have a conversation with you about life, about money, about business, whatever you want to talk about. We're going to document it, And you don't need to show your face. You can change up your name, you can change up your location, but we can have a real, honest conversation. And the hope is to start transforming people's lives, encouraging them to live their one life well. And and while I do that, be able to document the process so that other people can benefit and be inspired by that. So if I had to zoom back, this channel is going to do it's going to be one of two things. It's going to be a show that I'm going to talk about the things I want to talk about with the people I want to talk about. I may bring on a guest that has nothing to do with money, and we're going to be talking about things that I'm interested in. I may do one-off interviews with people I'm very, very interested in, but that's bucket number one. And then bucket number two is a call-in show where I'm going to be talking to you about life, about business, and about money. And quite frankly, we'll see what happens. I may be talking to myself and a few brave people that are willing to tune in and chat with me. Or this may be something that has a ripple effect and helps encourage more people to live intentionally. See, and I'll now transition into like who the heck am I and why should you even care, for those of you that even stay this long to watch this video. When I grew up in Wisconsin, and I'm the oldest of 6 kids, and I've always wanted to be successful. I've always wanted to help people, and I actually got one of my first jobs gutting chickens. Okay, I processed chickens, and I made $1 for every chicken that I processed. And during that time, I read 2 books that very much changed my life. One of the books was The Richest Man in Babylon, which was very fundamental of the whole money thing and how I got inspired to really help people with money. And the other book was Good to Great by Jim Collins, around leadership, about being a level 5 leader, about inspiring other people to get on the bus and to be able to go to different heights just as a team. And I remember being 15 years old, reading these concepts and really be inspired to do something with my life, to be able to help people, and which led me to get a job at a bank when I was 17. And I learned a lot about how banks work, about how to interact with people. I worked in multiple different departments, ended up working in our investment department at 18 years old. And at the age of 19, the person that was running the bank's investment department left, took another job. And at 19 years old, I took over the corner office of the bank. And it was, as I reflect back on that time, it was like, number one, very blessed for that opportunity, but number two, it was a very scary moment. And I don't want to over dramatize things, but I was very underqualified and very insecure about not knowing what to do. And I am so grateful that I reached out to people that were generous enough to help me, and they helped me. And through this journey, I made a mission statement, which simply read, help people see and reach their highest potential. So I was rooted and grounded to whatever I do, whatever I learn, whatever I am able to create, I want to make sure that I can help people see and reach their highest potential. And that theme, led me to learning from a lot of people, ended up starting Better Wealth at the age of 21, and even living with my parents, started the business. Our first office was in the basement of a Papa John's building. The office lease was $250 a month, and the dream of helping people be more efficient and see and reach their highest potential was like the spark. And then from there, I self-published a book called The And Asset, and we started leaning into the power of the internet, and we're saying, hey, this internet thing, could this help people? Could we use the internet to maybe meet with people so we don't have to meet in person? And from that evolution of learning, we ultimately continued to grow, and now we have clients in all 50 states. We have an incredible team, and we are very good at what we do when it comes to helping people, especially around setting up life insurance policies, but also have the ability to help around estate planning, around retirement planning, when it comes to even holistic coaching for entrepreneurs to better keep, protect, and grow their wealth. And this has been a fun journey that I've been on. I've learned and made a ton of mistakes in the process around business, I've had my philosophy and frameworks challenged when it comes to helping people with money. And I'm really grateful, because could I have done a show or a call-in show years prior? Absolutely. I always had things to say, but I'm actually very grateful that I've not done this to date, and I chose to really spend my 20s working on the business and learning, because I feel like my perspective and conviction has grown even greater in some areas. I feel like my empathy and understanding and conviction in other areas that I thought were important has come down. And what I mean by that is early on, sometimes I held things as like absolute. I realized like this, and quite frankly, it was because of people like Dave Ramsey and others that I was like, you need to be like set in stone. This is exactly what you need to believe every time. Don't budge, because if you budge, that shows weakness, and no one wants to do business with someone who's weak. And then the more that you realize, you're like, okay, there's actually nothing new under the sun. And there's a lot of it depends. Things depend. Like, should you pay off your house? We could look at the mathematical equation. We also could look at the, do you sleep better at night? And like, you can't just make a black and white, everyone needs to do this, because interest rates change, people's situations change, people's outcomes change, people's mindsets change. And so it very much comes down to meeting with the person and figuring out what they're trying to do, and then helping them with the end result and figuring out what they're trying to do and understanding who they are, what's the best situation for them. And through that, I've gained a lot of empathy around like, okay, well, if the conversation depends, then we just need to have more conversations with people and really be able to help them around the what do you want and then where do you need to go. And so in real time in this call-in show, you'll see me very imperfectly go through this, but you'll see the power of asking people questions and challenging them, and hopefully them leaving the call with a very clear understanding of what their next step needs to be, and you leaving watching the recording, whether you're listening or watching on YouTube, around a different perspective. The same thing comes with reacting to the news or reacting to videos online. It's easy for you to just call someone out and say, you're a buffoon, you're an idiot, you're a total idiot, I can't believe you're saying that. And what you're going to find is in most things on the internet are based in half-truths. Most people are not straight up trying to scam someone. There are some. Most people are not trying to straight up scam you. They have a certain area of beliefs or understanding, and they are doing their best, and they're describing with biases or no biases their opinion. And sometimes it's helpful to take a step back and say, okay, what are things that I like about this, and what are things that I don't like, and like, let's create a fair and balance. One of the things through this whole process and having conversations is I very much like playing the devil's advocate, because I never want to be the friend or person that's just constantly telling you what you want to hear or not trying to hear the other side. And that has come because I've made a lot of mistakes, and a lot of times a lot of mistakes that I've made were because I failed to look at counterpoints, counter arguments, and trying to look at the true pros and cons. And I believe in a decision in life, majority of things come with pros and cons, and you really have to weigh the cost of things, which leads me to one of my favorite financial concepts, which is opportunity cost. Opportunity cost, meaning any decision you make, there's a cost of what, by making that decision, what you're not able to do as that. The example is you watching this, you're not able to do other things because you're watching this video. There's opportunity cost for you clicking on this. And so with that, I just want to say thank you so much for watching this video. If this is something that interests you and you're like, man, I'm interested in seeing how Caleb will handle conversations or his interpretation of what he is consuming, please subscribe to this. And if you're someone that wants to have a conversation, please, there will be a link down below. Please fill it out. And I would love nothing more to have a conversation with you. And if you're able to be on the show, to be able to document that for not just you, but for other people to come. And you'll see that we're gonna improve a lot of things. For example, this is the first video. The background that I have may or may not be the same background that we're going forward, and we're gonna learn lots of things from a standpoint of how to do a show. Are we gonna go live? Are we not gonna go live? As of speaking today, I don't know all the technology of how the call-in show is even going to be possible, but that's the beautiful thing about Amazing Team, and that's the beautiful thing about just figuring it out. And you're going to see that there's going to be a common theme. And so from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Whether you've been following me for years and years and years on other channels, whether you've been a client of Better Wealth, whether you've been a childhood friend, I want to thank you so much for watching this video. And if you have no context in who I am, and this is the very first video you've ever seen online from me, I want to thank you so much for watching and listening to my heart on this. And I'm very excited to document the journey. And if you're along for the ride, I'm very grateful for you.